Welcome back to White Fox After Hours.
Welcome.
I'm Scarlett.
And I'm Cody.
And we are your hosts of the official White Fox podcast.
Yes, we are. And it's been a minute since we've been in our Sydney studio. We've been traveling the world, New York, Black Friday, the whole shebang.
We have been busy, but it is nice to be back.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. And we have a fun episode for you guys today. We are going to be talking through girl code, what girl code means, a bunch of scenarios that we are going to decode with girl code. And I think we have a pretty good grasp on this concept.
I think so. I feel like it's a very debatable topic. Some things, like a lot of girls have different opinions, but I feel like our girl code is quite aligned.
I definitely agree. We've already talked about a few of these things, like just getting each other's opinion. And I feel like we're very on the same page. And I feel like everyone in my life as well agrees.
Well, you need to have friends that have similar girl code. I feel like that's like when you get friends with people who don't,
Yeah,
it gets a little messy.
definitely. And I think that's where any friendship issues that I've had in the past has stemmed from is like not aligning on what the girl code is and what is an absolute no-no.
I feel like the only one that I kind of like have struggles with in my friendship group is like people being volt.
Yeah, that's so true. Like you will say something's volt and then maybe the severity of volt might not be as
loose sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, true.
yeah, we have a lot of different topics, and I feel like this is something that comes up so often. Like your friends will come to you and they'll be like, okay, what's the girl code on this situation? Especially like all kind of dating at the same time.
Yes.
That's where it can kind of like come up a lot.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of these are dating scenarios because it's like being single, especially in a place like Bondi where we live or like any major city, there's just a lot of the same people that are being rotated around. And obviously we always want to put the girls first. Sometimes there's scenarios though that it's like we do have to break this down and it's a little more complicated. So that's what we're doing today.
Shall we get into it then?
Let's get into it. What's our first one?
Would you date a friend's ex?
I just think this is like absolute no-no, no matter what. There's kind of no leeway with this. An ex is an absolute no-go. And it's like so wrong.
I feel like it depends on what type of ex. Like, are we talking like, if it's like someone that they've just been seeing or it's like not been that serious, then I feel like there's like room for the doors to be open a bit more. But if you're talking like actually ex, it is a huge no-no. Like if there's been feelings there, I'm sorry, but it's just weird.
It's weird. And it's like, it's actual, like go straight to jail. Like pass go and go straight to jail because imagine like dating like one of our ex-boyfriends.
Oh my God, I couldn't even. That's the thing too. Like if you've heard your friend talk about this ex.
Yeah.
Like I've got the ick from your ex and I didn't even date him.
No, literally.
Same with you with my ex.
Yeah, 100%. Even like anyone that your friend has actually really liked. I don't even think it has to be like a ex-boyfriend. If they've really, really liked them and there was actual feelings there and they've spoken about that person to you in multiple conversations, I just think it's really weird.
I know it. Do you know what the hard thing is though? Like in certain situations, I feel like girls just talk about everything.
Yeah,
you can have
that's
a
true.
story like oh my God. And like you can kind of just be talking about people. So I feel like there is some situations where like that you might have heard about this person a bit.
Yeah.
But like it was never anything. And like just a few messages or like kind of like having that situation, I do feel like if that person's moved on, like if that person has moved on and they're in a new situation, they're dating someone, they're happy.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to care because they are invested in someone else.
I think that's different.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, girls do talk a lot
About
about
every single
everything.
thing.
But if there's like actual feelings involved, I think it's different. But yeah, if it's just like a throwaway thing and then your friend's in a new relationship and she's like, nah, you can't talk to Brad from Hinge. Like,
Well, how weird would that be? Because if that was my partner and they'd dated someone and then their friend wanted to like start talking to this person, I'd be like, well, why do you care?
yeah.
Like if
you're trying to
you're
keep them
with
as an
me,
option
why-
or something, what's going on here?
So
Suspicious.
I feel like you can't also gatekeep people like I have like obviously for me, if I haven't had feelings for someone or like I'm just like, oh, go on that date, like do whatever, that's so fine.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it needs to be a conversation. Like I feel like they would be upset if they just hear or like see you talking to them and they're like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that because like if it were me, there's this like I always want my friends to be happy as well. So if it's like something that maybe it didn't work out with you and someone, but it could actually really work out for them and someone. And so if it was like it happened a long time ago or like I don't even think I would care that much if someone dated my ex because I don't care anymore, but it would just be weird.
My ex tried to date Cody.
Oh.
He tried to match with her on Hinge. That
Not
is
a chance.
criminal behavior,
Not-
isn't it?
I think like every situation, there's different variables to think about, but as a standard, like if it's an ex,
If it's
a
an
no.
ex, it is a no-go.
Yeah. And like, sorry, there's so many guys out there or girls. Like, you don't have to like choose someone else. It's too close to
Yeah.
home. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If it's like,
and who do you like want more? It's
Mm.
like you don't know. Like the actual positive chances of that situation working out for you, it's not really that high. Like people date a lot before
Yeah.
they find the person that they're going to be with. So are you saying that like possibility of that being a relationship is more important than your friend?
and also, I think sometimes when these situations happen, it's kind of like wanting what you can't have kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And literally go straight to therapy. Like that is your
Yeah.
issue. If you feel like you have to, like I get some situations, it just happens, you click, whatever. Like if you're not hurting too many people by it, maybe it could work out. But like if there's a constant pattern of someone doing that and entering situations and like stealing people's mans, I feel like
Yeah,
that's something you
probably
need to
do
work
book in
on
therapy.
in yourself.
Probably take yourself straight to therapy and see
Yeah.
how that works for you.
Yeah. I agree. I think we've broken down
Yeah,
that
we
one enough.
have.
All right.
Oh, actually, we had a note about like, what about like dating someone that your friend think is cute? Because I feel like this kind of happens, like
Yeah.
people being like, oh, I think that guy's really cute, and then you feel like you can't talk to them. Like, say if you like walk into a situation, they've not even spoken before, and they're like, oh, I think that guy's really cute. Like, I want to talk to him, but then he starts talking to you, or like
Yeah.
you haven't said it yet, but you think it. I feel like that kind of situation does happen sometimes where you're like, where's the line there? Because
That's really
it's like,
awkward.
It is awkward. I feel like sometimes people, like they've been messaging a little bit and they say they're cute and then they're like, kind of like, you feel weird then talking to them.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole like dibs thing, but like without calling dibs.
I
Like
don't think you can have dibs.
no, I don't think so either. I think actually that's a funny one because that's like a really subtle way of calling dibs, being like, oh, like I think that guy's cute. But it's like, I think that's okay to say, but you can't be like, well, that's mine now. You can't be upset because you
No.
said that one guy was cute one time.
I've literally never spoken to him before, but he's really cute, so
Yeah.
you can't talk to him.
Yeah. And then like, yeah, it just makes it so uncomfortable because obviously you always want to put the girls first, but it's like there's a certain line where it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong here.
Because you've literally never spoken to him.
Yeah, he's not yours. Like, really uncomfy. I think you just, especially if a bunch of your friends are single, you just need to have a bit of an awareness and just be a bit mature about things. Like, you can't be like acting like you're in like
Your
your
relationship with this guy that you haven't spoken to before.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, I think with that one,
You can't be
there's-
calling dibs.
You can't be calling dibs, and there's a lot of like room for seeing how those situations work out.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, next one is ditching your friends for someone you're dating.
I think no, you cannot be doing this.
Yeah, I agree. I
You
think
need to keep your friends.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just go, like, change who you are. Like, obviously, it's going to change a little bit. Like, you're going to be seeing that person more. You want more time for that person. But if you have plans with the girls or your friends, you can't be ditching for a man's.
nah, I 100% agree with this. And I think it's really like hard sometimes to make time for everyone. But I just think like you stick to whoever you made the plans with
Yeah,
first,
agree.
always.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you've got plans with the girls and you're ditching it for your mans, like that is so bad.
Well,
because
what if it doesn't work out?
yeah, literally.
This happens so often, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Like where someone will be dating someone, they'll go off, they'll be with them the whole time, they break up, and they're back to wanting to hang out all the time, and you're like, oh,
nice to see you again.
yeah.
Where have you been? I know, and it's hard. I think like, especially if like a lot of your friends are single and like you're used to that dynamic of a friendship, and then like someone gets into a relationship, it does change things, but like it's really important that you make time for the girls, and you have to prioritize that. Like, essential.
You cannot be ditching the friends for a man.
No.
And also I feel like it puts you into a bad energy as well. Like it puts you into a bit more of like a desperate energy.
Yes.
I feel like if you have plans with the girls and that's your plans, you can't be like keeping your weekend open or like leaving it free in case someone asks you. It's like actually better to have your own things, keep your own life. And I feel like when I see like my friends in the favorite relationships that they have, other people that like always have plans with their friends separately as well, like sometimes together, but like keeping that friendship, and like they're the happiest because they're not sacrificing that part of their life for their partner.
And also like that should never be the expectation in a relationship. I feel like that's when it gets really toxic. And also like it is giving a bit desperate. Keep that separate. Like it's more attractive if you have your own stuff going on and leave them wanting more. Pick me up after, babe.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh, okay. This is what we were talking about before, about keeping something vault and when is it okay to break it. Some people need to learn this.
Yeah.
I'm not a very vault person. I am with other people's things.
Yeah.
But I'm like such an overshower.
I feel like you're actually really good at keeping secrets. Like
I
for
do.
other people. Like I feel like if someone has said something, you will not say anything. And I feel like I'm the same. Like I'm pretty good at like, even when someone's like, oh, like there's that person over there, don't look. I'm never the person that's like, ugh. I'm like, okay, done.
That is criminal behavior when someone does that. You're like, I had that situation recently. A guy that I'd been on a date with the night before was walking across the other side of the road, and I was like, the girls obviously hadn't seen him yet, and I was like, oh, that's the guy that I went on a date with the other night, and they were like looking, and I was like, don't look. I literally turned into a crazy person. They were like, I was just so scared of you, like we're literally across the road behind a car, and I was like, turn around right now, turn around. Like I actually turned into a crazy person.
No, I know. It's so funny because it's like, it's really not that big of a deal. And like your friends don't have bad intentions.
Yeah.
With
like everyone looking, like the whole group of girls like looking across. Like imagine if he turned around at the same time and I'm like, oh, hey.
Nah. Like that is like, that's girl code. Like I feel like that is like an extra level where you're like, I want to look right now and I will not for you. And it's the same with Volt. Like some things, it's just, if you've said, and it's like, some things are more serious than others, and you can be like, okay, that is legitimately, you can't tell anyone this, but some things, it's like, it's kind of funny, and like your friend doesn't want people to find out about it, but you bring it up with your other friends, and it's a funny thing.
If it's something funny, I do get that, and you're just like, but I feel like sometimes you have to decide whose level of Volt and what you can tell things to.
Yeah.
And
yeah, true. It's kind of on you to know that.
Yeah, and I'm not very good at it. I tell my friends everything. I'm like, but I should determine the level of Volt because everyone has a different level of Volt. And it's not even a bad intent of telling people things because it's not like they're telling like the wrong person. It's just like shared within the group.
Yeah.
But you're like, how did you know that?
I know.
Obviously that person said something.
Yeah. And word travels fast out here.
Oh my God.
I swear sometimes you tell someone one thing and then some person I barely know is like, oh, what about this thing? And I'm like,
I know. And I think it's like also when you are single in a friendship group, like the like non-single friends are living for your stories.
Yeah.
Because, well, I've got them.
Happy to provide.
Happy to provide. But yeah, I feel like if you say Volt to someone, that should mean Volt. In girl code world.
Yeah,
it needs to be Volt.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we said, we are Volt. So give the same back, please.
Yeah, 100%.
Not having someone come up to me being like, oh, how's this? I'm like, oh, how'd you know that?
I'm so glad that's spread around. That's really, really good.
No, seriously. But yeah, be Volt out here.
Be Volt. And I think there's nothing wrong with being a little private sometimes. Like if you're happy for things to be out there, then for sure go for gold because Telling your stories is hilarious.
I'm not, but I tell everything and then I'm like, oh God, why did I say that?
I think I'm pretty good at not telling
I
things.
need to take a leaf out of your book. I think it's my ADHD.
You're like, yeah, you will say, I don't want anyone to know this. And then you'll be
And then I tell everyone,
like,
oh, it's so annoying.
I was like lip sealed.
And then I'll tell everyone. I need to learn this, I think.
Yeah, but like also it's funny. So it's part of your personality.
It's for the plot.
It's for the plot. I feel like I can be quite a mysterious girl sometimes with my information, but then sometimes I tell everyone as well. So
I just am all yap.
all yap, no chill. Should you be able to post a photo if your friend doesn't like how they look, or post without approval?
Some people, I post without approval, but I check how people look.
Yes.
And you've told me I'm good at this.
You are, yeah.
I'll like look at myself and the other person that I'm posting. Actually, Cody did this to me recently. Posted it straight on the feed, I do, didn't you? So what's your thoughts on this, Cody?
You already let me post it on my story, and it was not the first photo. It was in a dump. It was all
Yeah.
However, I know how we both feel about this. So yeah, I think it's okay to post without approval, but looking at like as long as the other person's not looking crazy. My friend, she doesn't even look at like what anyone else looks like. She's literally posted a solo photo on the feed, and my mouth was like open and my eyes were like rolling back. Like I was in the middle of talking and I was like, she doesn't even look. Like that is crazy.
Did she know,
behavior.
like when you messaged her, was she like, oh, I know her? She was like, oh my God, lol, I didn't realize.
Yeah, she was like, oh, I didn't even look. And honestly, I'm like, that is the main character energy we all need to strive for.
I think that I don't like, you did post that photo because you looked good and you look great. So like I will allow someone to post a photo if I don't look that great. I do get approval if I'm with them. Like if I'm with them, I'll be like, oh, but like, I don't know, sometimes it's a bit, you want to post a photo in the moment and you're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Like to text people. But I think it's okay to post if you look good. It's on their story. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I feel like when people are too picky about things being posted, like I totally get it, especially if it's anything to do with like being in a bikini or anything. That I'll always send that because like that's just like I don't know. I feel like that's a different level. But yeah, I think you don't need to look like a supermodel Victoria's Secret angel on someone else's story.
Yeah.
Like you can give them that one if they like the way they look. It's
like,
about them.
I feel like also sometimes if you're like, oh, I don't want you to post that. It's like, oh, if they want to post a story and they've gotten a photo and you're not happy with anything, like let them post. It's fine.
Yeah.
Supporting your friends even if you don't agree with who they're dating. I think this is such a hard one.
This is a really tricky one and there's so many factors because I think in general, like hearing that, I'm like always support your friends. But sometimes you do need to give like tough love as well. And like if they're actually in a really negative situation for them, if it's your close friend, like who else is going to tell them?
You know what, actually? I get the most tough love that anyone could have ever had in their life.
Yeah.
I get the most tough love. No one is ever good enough.
Well, it's just because you're really good and like people
No,
expect.
you should have heard my literal chats yesterday. I'm literally getting roasted for any single person that I talk to. I've got a brutal like support network through dating.
Which is like good on one hand because like, yeah, you do need to hear it, but also you do need to just figure it out for yourself as well.
I agree. Love them.
Love them.
But yeah, anyway.
But you're never going to listen to them. Like,
oh, I don't listen. They're like, stop asking me my opinion because you're going to do what you want to do anyway. Like, I don't.
Bad with that.
I know. I want to hear everyone else's opinion and then I'll be like, haha, jokes. I'm going to do what I do anyway.
I was always actually going to do this, but it was a good chat. Thanks.
I had this meme and I sent it to the girls on Instagram and it was just like, I think I sent it to Laura and it was like, shout out to my friends who are always like giving me their advice, even though I'm never going to take it. I love you. Keep trying.
That's so you coded.
That is literally me. Like, I'll ask you what I think, what you think, but I'm not going to listen.
Yeah. I know. I feel like we can all be a bit like that sometimes. Like, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And I feel like at the end of the day, like you either know what's best for yourself or you know what you want to do and you'll learn that lesson yourself.
I feel like whenever I've listened to anyone else in a situation in dating and I do what I didn't want to do, I get upset.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah.
But then if you do what you was true to yourself, then you're not going to get upset. So like just do what's true to yourself.
I'd prefer to do what's true to myself
Yeah.
and then like it blow up in my face than like not act on something and regret it because someone told me
Yeah.
not to. And you just never know what's going to happen. Like
Yeah.
things could work out. So don't do anything that's too stupid, but like, yeah, I think that you should always support your friends, especially in the beginning. Just let them figure it out themselves.
I know. I have had a situation recently where I said something to one of my friends about someone she was dating and she did not take it well.
Yeah.
And when things ended, she was like, oh, why didn't you guys tell me? And I was like, oh.
But it's like you can't, like you say that now, and I've said that about like ex situations where I've been like, oh my God, like, yeah, why didn't you guys say anything? But at the time, you don't want to hear it. Like,
I know.
And it's a really uncomfortable thing to bring up when your friend's like kind of obsessed with someone and you're like, yeah, he's really not great. He actually sucks. But
I kind of do want to hear it once. Like, I think like sometimes when you're dating someone, you can like think something differently of them and then you can see it so differently once you're out of like a certain situation. So I feel like it's like good to like, if you do actually think, oh, this person's not it, and it's like someone that's really close to you, I want to be receptive to that.
yeah.
And I would like, I feel like I do try to say things sometimes. It depends how close you are. There's only like one or two people I would say it to.
Yes.
And like anyone else, like sometimes when other people say it to you, you're like, I don't want to hear that from you.
That just feels like an attack.
Yeah.
If it's like not like the closest friend being like, oh, what about like this?
Yeah, I don't
You're
like it.
Oh, excuse me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it also makes you feel like you don't want to talk to them about that person. Like, you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to talk to you about this anymore.
yeah, that's the thing that I'm scared of is that your friend is going to feel like isolated with this and like not want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're just going to have the same conversations over and over again until they figure it out. But I think if it is a way of like bringing something up with them, you could just ask them how they feel about a certain detail about that person and be like, oh, like, what do you think about this?
A subtle way of letting them know he shouldn't be doing
Bit weird.
that. I know.
Weird.
It is hard to see sometimes. I feel like sometimes even some of like your smartest friends in dating can be so dumb. I was going to say dumb and I was like, is dumb the right word? But yes, dumb.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, you're like hearing stuff and you're like, oh my God, why are you putting up with that?
Like the most intelligent, amazing, beautiful woman. And yeah, she's like doing the silliest things and accepting the worst behavior. But it's like, it's two different parts of your brain completely. Like you can be so smart and so like good at your job and like have amazing friends. And then I don't know what it is.
You start talking to a boy and you lose all sense of anything.
Yeah, your brain goes like literally out the window.
Yeah. Do you know what trend I love? And this is kind of a side topic, but the women in male fields.
Yes, it's so good.
So good. I honestly think they are so funny. And I feel like it's kind of a good way to demonstrate to men how dumb they are sometimes in dating. Like I hope they look at that and they think, oh, yeah. That's actually probably something I shouldn't be doing.
It's crazy because sometimes I'm like, even with the guys that I'm friends with, I'm like, some of the ways they act with girls is crazy.
I know.
And it's like, do you actually think that's okay? And when you're in the situation as like a girl, I feel like you put so much weight on it and it's like they have so much power, but then you look at it and you're like, this is ridiculous what they're doing. So I love the trend to
it's such a good trend.
The power back.
It is such a good trend. It's like, what are even some examples? It's like
saying, oh, sorry, I'm never on my phone, but I'm literally active on every platform 24 hours a day. Or like saying, I'll let you know when I get home. Never let them know.
I actually tested that one out.
There's just so many. And it's like, yeah, as we should. Like literally as we should.
It's iconic. It is iconic. Whoever started that trend, we should read some out. When he sends multiple texts in a row explaining what's wrong, but I only replied to the last and least important one.
I love that because that pisses me off when someone does that to me.
I made him upset, so I decided to flip it around and make him the problem.
Gaslight, yes.
He lost his temper, so I asked him, is it that time of the month? He texted me and asking what the plan was, and I responded, I don't know. You can come if you want.
You can come if you want. Nothing makes me rage more than that.
Told a man I loved him, but then broke it off because I wasn't ready for a relationship and then was with someone new 2 weeks later.
I love this one. When he brings up something I lied about a day ago, so I tell him we can't move forward if you keep living in the past.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so many good ones. I'm obsessed. Okay, next one is if your friend doesn't like someone, are you also not liking that person in support of your friend?
It depends why.
Yeah, true.
I feel like if they've done something, if you've hurt my best friend like really badly,
Yeah.
then yeah, I'm not going to like you.
Yeah, I think you got to have some loyalty. Like, if your friend doesn't like someone and then you're like hanging out with them being all like I don't think you should ever be rude to anyone, but there's just no need to become friends with someone that your friend doesn't like for a certain reason.
And it's hard if it's like in a situation where like you're in a friendship group and then something happens internally. Like that's probably different, but it does depend on the severity of it. Like if they're being a drama queen, sorry, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like hate someone for you.
Yeah.
But hate is such a strong word, dislike. But if you've actually like done something really wrong, you've done something to me too, sorry.
Yeah. No, literally.
Like I've had to be there to like support them through that. Like if you're hearing every little detail of the story, you're not gonna like, sorry, you're not a good person. No,
absolutely not. And like if like one of my friends' relationships is like broken down in a bad way, like I do not like your ex. No. And I will not be afraid to speak my mind if I ever see you again. Like that is absolutely fine with me. I'm not trying to impress anyone. If it's like a girl, okay, one situation that I feel like comes to mind is like if say your friend has broken up with their ex and then they have started, like the ex has started to date someone new, I feel like you're always a little like, you're aware of the situation, who the new girlfriend is, and your friend's probably not going to like that new girlfriend. I think like that is one where you're like, this girl's done nothing wrong. Let's like not dwell on it too much, but I'm not going to hate this girl for you, you know? Or like if something, like if it's been a really like, maybe there was like cheating or something involved, then yeah, I'm not going to like this girl if she knew. But otherwise it's like, I don't know. We can like have our like chats about it in private, but I'm not going to not like this person.
Be there to support you, but like, yeah, we're not making enemies with people for no reason. But I feel like your friend wouldn't expect that of you. If you have good friends, like they're also, like you can't be not liking someone just because they're dating someone that you've ended things with. Like those doors are closed. They've got someone new. You probably want to be with friends that, unless something really bad happened, they want their ex to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like move on. I feel like we can't be holding on to the past like that.
Yeah. And I think for all parties, it's like protect your peace a little bit. Yeah. Like putting out too many bad vibes of not liking people.
Bad karma.
And like it's more exhausting for you, honestly. It's just easier to have peace with as many people as you can.
Yeah, I agree. But if they have done something really bad by your friend, I feel like that is gold code.
Yeah.
We don't like them.
No.
We collectively don't like them.
Yeah. Like have some solidarity, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that one. Letting your friend talk about the same situation over and over and over again. Do we need some tough love?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of spoke about this briefly, but like I think you need to give it some time before you get the tough love in there. Like
that's what your friends are for. And I always say that, like whenever my friends are like to me, like, can I rant, or like they're talking about the same situation over and over again. Like, yes, I'm here for that.
Yeah, because like, you would want the same.
Yeah, that's what your friends are for, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does kind of get a point where you're like, are they aware of the fact that they're talking about this and not doing anything differently? Because sometimes you can just go on like a bit of path of like just complaining and not doing anything about it, which is fine for a bit. But yeah, after a while, I think maybe you can just be a bit like, do you want to hear my actual opinion on this?
Yeah, I think it is good to ask because like then they're allowed, like if they don't want to hear it, then sometimes they don't. But if you've asked permission to give your opinion, I think it's always good. It is really hard, like especially if it's someone that like you're not as like there's only a few people I think in your life that you can give tough love to.
Yeah.
Like I do think it's hard sometimes, but they are probably the people that are coming back and saying the same situation over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think tough love is important sometimes. And I feel like sometimes your friends will like at the moment be a bit defensive, but then they'll go away and they'll be like
if your closest friends aren't going to do it, then who is?
Yeah.
So it's like if your friend really needs to hear something, I think like you're being a good friend and like it is girl code to tell them sometimes, but like give them a second and don't be too like hard on them too.
Yeah.
Like it needs to come from a nice place, which obviously it would, but yeah. If you go to a party with a friend, you leave together. Don't leave your friends on your own. I think this is like really dependent on the situation again, because I feel like sometimes your friends want to like stay out, or you might want to leave early, they might want to leave early, and that's okay. But you just should never leave a friend on their own completely, because that's crazy. Like if they're not comfortable in the situation and then you guys are just like, well, bye.
You can't just backdoor it. I feel like you need to like have a conversation, but sometimes your friends might want to stay out a little bit longer than you. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's okay to leave.
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes a smoke bomb is easier than like explaining to your friends that you want to leave, because like especially if it's late, everyone's had a few drinks, they obviously don't want you to leave, so it's hard to reason with them.
Yeah, that's true. If there's like a group of people and you're leaving, I feel like that's okay, but if you've gone out together, you can't be smoke bombing.
Yeah. And also, yeah, I feel like I would never smoke bomb with my like really close friends, because a lot of them would be like, we're like worried for my safety as well if I've like not told them where I've gone. But if they know, like I just think it's always good to kind of like let your friends be like, okay, I'm gonna leave. If you don't want to give too much of an explanation, that's fine.
I don't think I've ever fully smoke bombed and not told everyone where I'm going.
Well, it's a bit scary because like, what if
you
something
bad
happens?
Yeah,
like,
you want to know.
Yeah.
I feel like you actually do need to let them know, or even a text after if you smoke bombs. Like just let your friends know where you are.
Yeah, like home safe. They might be like, wait, what? But like, I think that's good. But yeah, like I've heard of situations where friends of mine have been left in like a club and the girls
you can't be doing that.
Yeah, the people they were with like didn't tell them. Yeah, crazy
like
behavior.
by themselves.
Yeah.
That is so bad.
Or like they've seen them like talking to a boy or something and been like, oh, they're fine, and then left. Like that is so wrong.
No, that's really bad. I feel like you cannot be doing that. That's not a nice friendship thing to do.
No.
I feel like you also need to have your friends on Find My iPhone for a night out as well, just to make sure like they're all good, they've gotten home safe.
Yeah.
That's essential.
I agree.
But yeah, you can't be leaving them there. That's not okay.
It's really not okay.
If your friends are doing that to you, you need to find new friends.
Yeah, 100%. And like,
it's not nice.
It's scary out there. Like you got to look after your girls.
Yeah, agree. Do you tell your friend if you find out information about their ex? I feel like this is such a hard one.
Yeah, this is really hard because sometimes it could just make them so much more upset.
Yeah, like they don't need to know everything. I feel like especially if you're moving on, I feel like sometimes there's situations where you need to tell them if they're like being silly and they need to know things because like they're not like forgetting about them. Yeah. And then obviously that information is going to hurt them, but like they need to know.
Yeah.
But then if they're like moving on, do you really need to know what they're up to?
I know. I think sometimes it's hard because like sometimes if it was me, I would want to know the whole situation, or like some of my friends want to know everything, but it's like, is that really good for you right now? Like I feel like sometimes things like that just send them on a spiral and it's not good for anyone. But yeah, it's really hard because it's like then you have to be the person to decide what they should and shouldn't know. Like I wish they could more just, I don't know, you could ask them like, I found something out, do you want to know about this situation? But
say yes,
obviously they're going to want to know.
They're going to say yes. I feel like it's hard. I was put in a situation recently where one of my friends was talking to a guy for like a month. She was literally sending him photos of like me going on a date, and then he matched with me on Hinge. And then I had to tell her, the guy that you're talking to tried to match with me on Hinge. And she's like, oh, like, am I in any of your photos? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was an awkward situation. Not that that was an ex, but like it's not like a nice thing to have to like tell your friends those things.
I know. That is really awkward.
I hated it. Yeah. I hated it. But yeah, like an ex, like I feel like if they've like not been seeing each other for a while, there's like situations where your friends are like, did I really need to know that?
Yeah.
Like there's some things that you just don't need to know.
I know. And some things like they really play in your mind and you're like, I
Yeah.
just wish
I didn't
I
know
didn't know
that.
that. Yeah.
I feel like it's better just to forget, move on. We don't like, it is quite toxic needing to know things.
Yeah.
Unless you're like, if they're like leading you on and like, well, leading your friend on,
Yeah.
like then you kind of gonna have to be like, oh, we'll have to let you know, like they're actually like doing this, this, and this.
Yeah. No, I think that is true. If it's going to like change the outcome of a
Yeah.
situation, this information, tell them.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, I
Like
think
better not known.
I would prefer sometimes to just like keep the peace and not
Ignorance
know
is bliss.
things. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss. What about if it's like you find out that your friend's ex is seeing someone new or like has a new like
I feel like that's
girlfriend?
big information that you probably
Yeah.
would want to know.
Yeah.
But it's just like the little things in between, or like he's like been doing this, he's been doing that. Like you don't want to know. But
No.
like I feel like a new relationship, maybe you'd want to know.
Yeah, true.
That's big information.
That's big updates. Like it doesn't change anything, but it's like if you had that information about anyone, you'd tell your best friend. So it's
Yeah.
like it would be weird if you didn't tell them
Didn't
about
tell
that.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay. Wow. I think that's all about girl code. A lot of those situations had a lot of variables, but I feel like we did well
Yeah,
at decoding.
I think so. I feel like there's always situations where like you do need to, it is situation dependent always.
Always.
But we're here for the girls.
Yeah, I
We're
think
here for the girls always.
yeah. If you're ever confused, just talk to your friend about it. But also, some things go without saying, and if it's going to make your friend upset, just don't do it.
Yeah. No, we do put the girls first because you never know. Unless it is the love of your life. Like, you're like, okay, this person, I really see them seriously. We always pick the girls.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you can do it all. Don't be ditching the girls. Make time for everyone, and it's all going to be fine. But like, yeah, I feel like if you find yourself in situations and you're like, why does this stuff always happen to me? Like, maybe take a look in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, we hope that helps anyone debunk any situations that they're currently facing. I feel like it is good to hear a different perspective sometimes because you can be in a certain situation and want there to be a different answer to probably some of these.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe and download wherever you get your podcasts.
And make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube at White Fox After Hours. And we'll see you next week.